I watched a grown man apologize to his wife for going to the gym. Not for missing dinner, not for being late, for going to the gym, for keeping the promise he'd made to himself about his health. She was crying. Said he was choosing weights over family. Said he was being selfish. Said real men put their families first. And this man, 6'2", successful, intelligent, folded like wet cardboard, canceled his membership that day, gained 40 pounds that year, lost her respect entirely within 2. She left him for a personal trainer. The irony would be funny if it weren't so common. She didn't leave because he went to the gym. She left because he stopped defending his right to go. This is what happens when you have no sacred boundaries, when everything is negotiable, when anyone's tears can rewrite your standards, when keeping the peace matters more than keeping your word. Let me tell you something that will offend everyone and save your life. Your boundaries are not requests, they're declarations. But you've been trained to negotiate everything, to consider everyone's feelings first, to find the compromise, to keep everyone happy. So your boundaries sound like this. I'd really prefer if you didn't. It would be nice if you could. Maybe we could try. Is it okay if I? These aren't boundaries. They're suggestions. And suggestions get ignored. Real boundaries sound like this. This is non-negotiable. That doesn't work for me. No, I'm doing this. No explanation, no justification, no permission seeking. But you can't do it. Know why? Because you're not actually confused about boundaries. You're avoiding the responsibility of enforcing them. Every time you claim, I don't know what my boundaries should be, you're really saying, I don't want to deal with the conflict of defending them. It's not confusion, it's cowardice. A man without boundaries is not kind. He's weak, and weakness triggers biological contempt. Watch what happens when you have no boundaries. With her, she starts small, tests the edges. Can she interrupt your workout? Can she spend the money you saved? Can she invite her mother without asking? Can she criticize you in public? Each time you fold, she pushes further. Not because she's evil, because she's trying to find where you finally become solid, where you finally say, no further. But you never do. So she keeps pushing until she's disgusted by how easily you move. Women don't respect men they can reshape like Play-Doh. At work, your boss dumps extra projects on you. Your coworkers slide their work onto your desk. Meetings run over into your time. Emails invade your evenings. You become the reliable doormat. Always available. Always flexible. Always accommodating. Never promoted. With friends, they borrow money they don't repay. They show up late. They cancel last minute. They take without giving. They mock your goals. You're not their friend. You're their resource, their option, their backup plan. With yourself, this is the worst betrayal. You break promises to yourself constantly. Skip workouts for others' convenience. Abandon goals for others' comfort. Betray your values for others' approval. You have no self-respect because you've shown yourself you'll sell out for anyone's tears, anger, or disappointment. Here's the sexual truth no one tells you. Boundaries create polarity. Masculine energy is defined by structure, borders, definition, the riverbank that gives the water direction. Feminine energy is defined by flow, movement, emotion, the water that needs banks to create power. When you have no boundaries, there's no structure, no definition, no container. Her feminine energy has nothing to push against, nothing to surrender to, nothing to trust. She doesn't want to flow into nothing. She wants to flow into something solid. But you're not solid. You're permeable, moldable, movable. So she tests harder, pushes more, creates more drama. Not because she wants to fight, but because she's desperately seeking your edge, the place where you finally become immovable. The feminine tests boundaries to feel safe surrendering to them. Every time she pushes and you fold, her body registers. This man cannot hold me, cannot contain my storm, cannot be trusted with my surrender. Your sexual dynamic dies because polarity requires opposition. Two magnets with the same charge repel each other. When you become as fluid as her emotions, there's no attraction. Just two people floating in the same undefined space. She starts fantasizing about men with edges, men who say no, men who hold frame, men whose boundaries don't dissolve in tears. Meanwhile, you're wondering why she never initiates anymore. She can't surrender to boundaries that don't exist. Your boundary problem started with your father. If he had no boundaries, you learned that men fold, that keeping peace matters more than keeping standards, that love means letting everyone cross your lines. If he had brutal boundaries, you learned that boundaries mean cruelty, that saying no means being the bad guy, that standing firm means standing alone. Either way, you never learned the truth. Healthy boundaries are acts of love. When you hold boundaries, you teach people how to love you properly. You show them where you begin and they end. You create clarity in chaos. Your father either showed you doormat or dictator. Neither taught you the third option. The calm, clear man who says no with love. Not, no, and fuck you for asking. Not, well, maybe, I guess, if you really want. But no, that doesn't work for me. Simple, clear, non-negotiable, without cruelty or apology. You're still waiting for permission to have boundaries, waiting for someone to say it's okay to disappoint people, waiting for the world to approve of your standards. Your father never gave you that permission. So stop waiting for it. The permission comes from deciding you matter enough to have lines that don't move. Here's how to build boundaries that don't break. First, start with your non-negotiables. Write 3 things that are sacred. Not preferences, not hopes. Sacred. Your morning routine. Your training time. Your work focus hours. Your sleep schedule. Your sobriety. Your mission time. These are not up for discussion. Not for her tears. Not for your boss's demands. Not for your mother's guilt. Second, state, don't explain. I'm going to the gym. Not, I'm going to the gym because I need to work out and it's important for my health, and I'll be back soon, and dinner will be ready. Explanation is negotiation. State your boundary and move. Third, expect the extinction burst. When you first set boundaries with someone who's used to you folding, they'll escalate, dramatically. More tears, more anger, more guilt, more threats. This isn't them getting worse. This is them testing if your boundaries are real. The extinction burst is proof your boundaries matter. Hold through the storm. It passes. And on the other side is respect you haven't felt in years. Fourth, the 24-hour rule. Never adjust a boundary in the moment of conflict. If someone pushes, your answer is, "This is my boundary. We can discuss it tomorrow if you'd like." By tomorrow, the emotional storm has passed, and usually they don't bring it up again. They just needed to know the boundary was real. Fifth, boundary consequences. A boundary without consequences is a suggestion. If you yell at me, I'm leaving the room. Then leave. If you're late again, I'm starting without you. Then start. If you interrupt my workout, we'll discuss it after. Then don't discuss until after. No anger. No punishment. Just consequences. Your mission this week is the Sacred 3 Protocol. This week, you will establish 3 sacred boundaries. Morning. Boundary. The first hour of your day is yours. No phone, no requests, no conversations. You wake, you do your routine, you prepare for battle. Anyone who interrupts gets, "I'll be available after time." No exceptions. Evening boundary. Pick a cutoff time for work communication. 7 p.m., 8 p.m., whatever. After that time, you don't check email. You don't take work calls. You don't just quick look at this. You're off duty. The world won't end. Weekend boundary. Choose one weekend morning that's untouchable. Saturday before noon, Sunday before 10. This is your time for physical training, mental clarity, spiritual practice, or absolute nothing. Not negotiable for errands, visits, or quick favors. The test. People will push against these immediately. Your woman will need just this one thing during your morning time. Your boss will have an emergency after your cutoff. Your family will guilt you about your weekend boundary. Do not fold. State the boundary. Hold the boundary. Let them feel the edge of your no. By day 7, you'll notice something powerful. People start respecting your boundaries without you having to defend them. Boundaries aren't walls. They're definitions. They tell the world, this is where I end and you begin. This is what I will accept. This is what I won't. Without boundaries, you're not generous. You're empty. Without boundaries, you're not loving. You're enabling. Without boundaries, you're not peaceful. You're dead. The world will take everything you'll give. Your energy, your time, your focus, your mission, your manhood. Your boundaries are the only thing standing between you and complete dissolution. Start with 3. Hold them like your life depends on it. Because it does. Episode 4 is next. Control your world. Your environment is either building you or destroying you.